Hey guys, before we start this episode, I wanted to talk to you about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing line that proceeds of the shirts and tanks and everything else goes to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. So this all came about with me and seeing a 5-year-old girl in the emergency department that had new onset of diabetes. So just take a look at the website. It's www.type1lifting.com. So just check it out. If you don't buy anything, that's perfectly fine. I would just like for you just to take a look and just see what we have. So like I said before, www.type1lifting.com. And guys, I hope you enjoy the show. All right, guys, another episode for the Type 1 Lifting podcast. I have a very, very interesting guest. I'm really excited for this one. Her name is Nicole Cowell. She's the owner of Liberte Lifestyles. How's everything going today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, good. I'm really excited. I've been waiting since the time we've connected to today. So just wanted to pick your brain.
Well, hopefully it lives up to expectations.
Oh, it will. I mean, if other people don't like it, I know I'm going to like it. So that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're originally from Australia. So what made you move to Iowa?
Yes, so I'm Australian, hence the accent. We left Australia about 5 years ago. My husband originally got offered a job in Canada, so we moved to just outside Toronto in Canada. We were there for 2 years, and then he got another transfer to the company's head office in Iowa. So
okay.
My husband works in agriculture, so corn is in Iowa everywhere.
Yep.
Hence their headquarters is here, and we moved here about 3 years ago. So yeah, I've been here 3 years now.
Yeah. So how is it living in Iowa?
Iowa's great. I know lots of people sort of wonder why I'd want to live in Iowa when Australia's so nice and the weather's so great, especially being so cold here for a long part of the year.
Yep.
But we really like it. It's a good experience for us. I mean, I lived in Australia for 39 years, so I've been there, done that, and it was a good opportunity to bring the family and experience the United States, and then use it as a base to explore the US and other parts of the world, because Australia is just so far from everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was good to come here, and I mean, for my husband's work, it's a good opportunity. For my business, it's a huge market and a good opportunity, so it just sort of works. And Iowa itself, it's really safe. The kids like it. We're super friendly. Iowa nice is a real thing. So we're enjoying it so far. So no complaints. Apart from the weather, we're not. I prefer summer, but
Yeah. Well, I'm from I live in Georgia right now. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so it is stupid humid down here. It is. I mean, I kind of want Massachusetts weather, but not the winter time. Just
I'll take the summer, the heat over the cold any day.
Well, yeah, me too. Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Yeah. So, you actually do CrossFit as well. When did you start doing CrossFit?
I started CrossFit when my son was 1. Now, he's just turned 10, so that makes it about 9 years ago. So I started, anyone with young children knows that you just don't have a lot of time, and I just didn't have time to sort of go and do an hour sort of weight session and then 30 minutes of cardio. And I think CrossFit was just starting to sort of build a bit of a profile back then, and I had a girlfriend that asked me, do you want to come along to a intro session? So I went with her, and the coach immediately after that said, you're just going to love CrossFit, it really suits your personality. And I continued. She didn't, as it turned out, but yeah, I did. I loved it. It was just initially it was purely just to get exercise in an hour, high intensity, get it all done and go home. And I guess it was probably a year. So I was pregnant again within 6 months of starting, and then I trained all the way through with my daughter up to 39 weeks, and then had her, and then probably about a year, when she was about a year old, I started to get competitive, I guess, and got on a regionals team with my CrossFit box back in Australia, and then I've turned 40 and now a Masters athlete, so just sort of continue to evolve from there. So yeah, so 9 years later we're still doing it and still enjoying it, so which is good.
Yeah, and you said before you placed like 80th out of your age bracket a couple years back.
Yeah, so I was I've been in the 40 to 44 category for the last 5 years, and my best placing was 80th a couple of years ago, and now that's in the world. So now this year will be my first year in the 45 to 49, so it'll be sort of a turning point being the young one in the next age bracket, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, and I've taken a little bit of a step back, I guess, with my training. I'm not quite training the volume that I was 2 or 3 years ago, but still training, and we'll see what happens with CrossFit and the Open this year, and see how I go. So,
yeah.
So hopefully I can stay injury free and just do my best, I guess, have some fun with it.
Yeah. So since COVID hit, what has your been like training like? Did they? I don't know what like happened in Iowa. Did they shut down a bunch of the gyms for like a long period of time? And are they still closed? Okay.
Yeah. So we shut down. I guess it was early March. They shut down for, I guess it was until July when things started to reopen. So yeah, everything we just had to train at home. My husband and I we had a barbell and weights and a squat rack and things like that. We managed to run out and get an assault bike really quickly and a few more dumbbells. So we were before the rush started. So we were pretty lucky there. We had a base, and getting warmer. The weather was starting to get warmer at that time, so at least you can run outside and things like that.
Yeah.
So we were training at home. It took a little bit of getting used to. Just even though it's just walk downstairs to the basement, you know how it is. It's sort of when you're not in that zone, it was a little bit tricky to get started. And my gym was really good. Like they published home workouts, so they modified workouts for what equipment people had at home, and they also allowed people to borrow equipment from the gym during that time, and I didn't need it because I had most of what they had, but it was good for some members to take advantage of that. So yeah, so we were at home for, I guess it was a good 4 months, and then July they've opened back up with various controls with boxes on the floor, only a certain number of people in each class which you have to book ahead for, and control the equipment, wiping down everything before you come in and after you completed your workout. So I think CrossFit, compared to sort of more Globo gyms, is much easier to control.
Yes.
The environment. You can put all the equipment in a box, and you say you're going to do this, and you don't have to worry about people sort of moving around too much and touching things they're not supposed to. So from that perspective, it's been pretty good. So we've been back for a couple of months now, and it's been good. It's good to get back and see people again and interact and do all that. So especially myself working from home, like I'm not, and working for myself in a small business, you don't interact with a lot of people. So the gym was my social outlet. So it was and an opportunity to get away from the children who are also at home, like permanently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. And you also coach there too. So what kind of coaching style do you like? Are you like really like in the person's face, like, wishing them like, come on, keep it up, or like what's your style of coaching?
So I'm probably better at smaller group coaches. I guess it's the nature of coaching and the nature of the classes that I do. So I do a lot of daytime classes. So and the classes are sort of often smaller, but that suits me. Like I like to get to know people. I like to get to know what they're good at, what they're not good at, and I actually like to push people a little bit, especially in their weights. Like I find a lot of people, especially ladies, can tend to not really try a weight that they're capable of, and I watch them and I'm like, well, that was easy. Like you can do more than that, and obviously with this caveat that it has to be done safely, in good form, etc. But I really like to push people to lift a little bit more, and you can do things that didn't think you were capable of. And I came through. I mean, I'm competitive at CrossFit now, but when I came through, like nothing came easy to me. You know, it took me forever to get kipping pull-ups. It took me forever to learn butterfly pull-ups. It took me forever to learn toes to bar. Like, things took a long time. I'm not. Don't have any sporting background outside of CrossFit. Don't have any gymnastics background. So I've been there, right? Like, I've been at that place where everything's hard, and I'm a female that is bottom heavy, so, you know, I know what it's like to have, you know, compared to men, you don't have the upper body strength to be able to lift, you know, your legs and things. So I guess I sort of draw on that and, you know, give people tips because I've been there myself, and I've been able to come out the other end and master everything. So I don't say I still can't improve, but so I guess like to get to know people and push them and make them feel like when they walk out that they've achieved something they didn't think they could. So.
Awesome. Now, do you think that with females, they just stick with the kind of a lighter weight and they don't really want to go higher? Because do you think that they think they might get bulkier or whatnot from lifting the weights?
I think there's probably a little bit of that. I just think there's also this a general lack of confidence in just not even knowing that you're capable of doing that weight, or and I think if you don't see yourself, and I guess a coach can see when that lift was easy, like and I think a lot of people, not just in CrossFit but even in a gym, they don't sort of understand that it's supposed to be hard, it's supposed to be heavy, and even though, you know, it is heavy, the fact that you can do that like 8 times, it's not that heavy. Yeah. So they've sort of got to learn that that's normal, like that struggle is normal, and that struggle is what will make you better, and that it's okay to fail, it's okay to try a back squat and to, you know, to not be able to get out of the bottom and to drop it off your back, and like, so you've got to learn that it's okay to do all those things and to push yourself. And I think a lot of people are, I think, just afraid to push themselves because they've never done it. Yeah. And having a coach or a person that says, you know, you can do it, like, just try, it's okay, and then, you know, it is okay. And I'm not even talking about, you know, really at that limit of, I'm talking about something that they'll do and it's still easy for them, like they just haven't even attempted it before. So yeah, I think, and the same thing with like pull-ups, and, you know, like people who are doing pull-ups with a band, and eventually you just got to get rid of the band, and yes, you're going to be terrible for a while, but you're going to come out the other end of that and you're going to be good. Like I remember I used to do muscle ups with a false grip, and I did a gymnastics seminar, and they were like, get rid of the false grip. You can't kip properly with a false grip. Like, you got to stop it. So we trained in this seminar, just for this one day, dropping the false grip. And then I came back to regular training, and they were spotting you a little bit, but it's harder without a false grip. Yeah. So I couldn't get them. Like, and then I sort of went back to my false grip. I still couldn't get them. So I was in this no man's land. And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to go back. I'm just going to keep trying and trying and trying without the false grip. And so 2 weeks, couldn't do any muscle ups. You know, I'd go to my comp team training, and there'd be a workout with like all these things and max muscle ups at the end, and everyone's yelling out their scores, and I'm like 0. And, you know, that was embarrassing. Like, you know, because I could do them, and I was sort of, you know, felt bad for myself. But at the end of those 2 weeks, all of a sudden I got it, and I've never looked back since, right? Like, nice. I've got it. So you sort of have to sometimes, you know, take that step back and take that hit on the leaderboard, on the whiteboard, that, you know your score's not as good because you're working on a skill that deliberately, but eventually in a month or 3 months or whatever the time frame is, you'll come out the other side and you'll be back up, you know, up the top of that leaderboard because you've mastered that skill. And I think sometimes being humble enough to, you know, take that step back, and even though, you know, you don't want to, is good. And I encourage people to do that sometimes because I've done it myself. So. Yeah. Awesome, very cool. So, what program does your gym do? Do they do? Do you say comp train? Do they do? I used to follow comp train myself. Comp train train masters, but our gym they do their own programming.
Okay.
So they've just found that suits them better for, you can program for your own members and have more control over that. So,
yeah,
and that seems to work quite well.
Okay,
yeah.
Very cool. And so now, since you've been like coaching CrossFit, so when did Liberte Lifestyle come about?
So I guess back when I was still in Australia, so I was training and wearing knee sleeves, and the only knee sleeves I had were these grey, unattractive ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all this, cute workout gear and nice clothing. Okay, sorry, my children.
It's okay. It's okay.
But my knee sleeves are just like ugly. And then I also had a girlfriend who was training with me, and she was small. And she said she could never find knee sleeves that actually fitted her.
Uh-huh.
She could wear them. So I had this idea of sort of custom, fun knee sleeves, but at the time I was working full time in the corporate world, and I just sort of parked that in the back of my head. And then around that time, my husband was transferred to Canada, to Toronto. So I quit my corporate job and we moved the family over there. And we actually owned a gym at the time in Australia, which we were selling. So I said, well, I'm not going to look for another job until the gym's sold and we're all settled in Toronto. So that all happened, and I guess then the concept of the business started sort of bubbling away a little bit more. And we knew that there was some possibility that we might move to the United States sort of in the future. So I was a little bit hesitant to go back into the corporate world because of potentially moving, and I was in senior level corporate. I was a general manager
mm-hmm.
back in Australia in construction. So these aren't jobs that you can take for 6 months or 12 months and then leave. So I just didn't feel comfortable sort of searching for a job that I knew that I potentially wouldn't be able to see through for a decent period of time. And so I, started working on my sort of business idea and just in the background, I guess, and we sold our gym business. And funnily enough, I actually applied to go on Australian Survivor because it's one of my dreams in life is to go on the TV show Survivor.
Yeah.
And I made it through to the third round of sort of qualification process, and flew back to Australia for that, and didn't quite get on the show. Got down to the final sort of 100 people, but didn't get on the show. And I guess that was another catalyst. It was like, okay, if there's any time to do this business, it's now. And I came back, set up the company name, and it was all hands on deck from then. So, I just sort of get started. I think a lot of people have ideas and they'd like to have their own business,
mm-hmm.
but never quite, get over that hill, because you can always sort of convince yourself to do something else. But I really didn't have any barriers in front of me at that time. So it was knee sleeves and accessories for CrossFit. And I guess because I was living and breathing CrossFit and I used these products myself, I really wanted a business that I was my own customer, I guess, because that, I guess I knew that I wanted these products, and you hope that there are other people out there like you that would want these products, and
mm-hmm.
I could test them myself, and I had friends that I could test them on, and and develop the products with, and it just evolved from there. So it just made sense. My children were also young still, so my son was in grade 1, I think, or kindergarten. So I still had young children, so I still wanted that flexibility to
mm-hmm.
control my time. Being an entrepreneur and having your own business, you're still working. You're just working odd hours.
Yeah.
That suited us in our lifestyle at the time, especially having moved the children across a country, across the world. It was a big, and not having any family nearby. We completely moved, and there's no family support network for us. So we needed me to have some availability of time for them, and whilst my husband settled into his job as well. So the company was born from that. So Liberty means freedom in French, in France. So our company in Australia, when we had the gym, had that same Liberté, had the same wording in it, and I've just sort of extended that to lifestyles because the business is about fitness or CrossFit accessories or weightlifting accessories, but it's a lifestyle, and I guess I hoped when I set it up that it may sort of morph and grow beyond just accessories. So I wanted something that sort of encompassed all of that, freedom in our life and the freedom to have a business and to do things, and the aspect of a lifestyle that CrossFit and fitness was for me, and that hopefully would be represent to other people as well. So
very cool. So how did you find like your manufacturer and stuff like that?
So that's all, I guess research, and there's different websites and information out there that you can get in touch with suppliers and get samples and talk to them, and you go through a process where, I'd already owned in Australia like 2 or 3 different brands of knee sleeves just through my own shopping, but then you go out further and do some more research and get product from all the other competitors out there, and I have a MBA, a Masters in Business, so I know to do all the business plans and go through all those thought processes and things like that. So, but then it's just coming down to just talking to potential suppliers and working out who's got a good product with somebody that you can trust and you can relate to, and you can explain what you're looking for and develop as the business goes along, and learn from as well, because I didn't have a background in, apart from using fitness accessories, I didn't have a manufacturing or a design background necessarily, so you had to sort of learn all that as you went along. But
yeah. So did you get it? Is your manufacturing company in the States or in another country?
Yeah, so it is in China for knee sleeves. So it's just, they are good at what they do.
Yeah.
So I do some shorts now, and some of my shorts range is manufactured here because I sort of wanted to have a bit more control over it. But for the knee sleeves, it is out of China. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was the communicate? Like, how was the first part of the communication between you and the company like?
Yeah, honestly, everyone speaks English.
Yeah.
So some better than others.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be very clear about what you want. And I guess there wasn't so much communication issues. It was more about me not knowing what I didn't know, and things that you assumed would happen, or features that you assumed would be there that weren't there or were changed, or just things like that. So you learn as you go along that you need to specify X, Y, Z, and if you don't specify it you may get something different. And
yeah.
I can't blame anybody else for that. It was just me not understanding that was a thing, and I needed to be specific about that thing. So it's just about that, and then it's learning what quantities you can order and how much you can push it, because when you're a small business, you sort of, there's an investment that you need to make up front, but you sort of trying to try and minimize that as much as possible. But when you are starting out, like, you don't have a website, you don't have a presence that you can direct someone to. So now, if I want to add a new product in, like, I have a website, I have customers, they can see that I'm established, like, there's no concern that I'm not a legitimate business that is genuinely going to order products. So that's the hard part at the beginning. That, I don't know, in Australia we use the term tire kicker. I don't know if it's a thing, if you use
Never heard of it.
in the United States, but it's basically someone who's like window shopping. They're just walking around and they have no intention of actually buying, but they're using up your time and wasting your time and never going to buy. And so I knew I was going to buy and I was serious, but in the beginning it was hard to find people to really take, give you the time of day to really go forward, and finding that right supplier is key. So
yeah.
And then making sure that continues and product quality continues and things like that. So yeah, you learn as you go, and I've had mistakes, but nothing, no major ones.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. So what made you design like the knee sleeves that I have, like the ice cream cone with the skull on it, and you have like the sharks, you have the flamingos. Like how do all those designs come about?
Yeah, so that's me. I guess doing all that, like thinking about what do I think. Well, one, what would I like? Like, so again, I imagine myself as my own customer, and then obviously there are sort of male and female, but I just like fun. I like colours, so I like colours, I like prints, I like stuff that's fun. So we really want to design things that stand out, that are just a little bit different. So the skull ice cream cones is probably like one of our most popular.
Yeah.
Probably the unicorns are the most popular. They're probably the skull ice creams are the second. Like, I just love that print from the beginning. We have it on shirts now, like shorts. Like it's just fun, and it's not. So let me take a step back. I didn't want to have an aggressive brand.
Yeah.
So I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not somebody that wants to have like. I don't know. There are some bands, particularly in the weightlifting area, that are quite aggressive, and that's not what I am. And that's not to say that's not for other people, but it's not for me. So I wanted something that was maybe a little bit edgy and fun, but not, super aggressive. So
yeah.
So we had the sharks, and we had flamingos and pineapples, and just fun stuff that people would like, that would be a talking point, and that obviously when you are a new business, like, it needs to stand out and be different to the market. Like, there's no, if you want black knee sleeves, you can just go on Amazon and buy black knee sleeves.
Yeah.
Go for it. That's not what I'm about. So, that's a position I've made, because we want something different, and I understand that there will be people that don't want that. Like, some people just want plain, they just want to blend in, and they want a pair that goes with everything, and they're not going to buy from us. So,
yeah. Having
said that, we did put black on the inside of a lot of the knee sleeves. I've gone away from that now. Now I do another print on the inside, so we have them reversible but with two prints, just because I think, I guess, reinforcing that we're just about fun and prints, and just have fun with it. And you're not wearing them all day every day. Then just put them on, train, and take them off. So
yeah. Yeah, the t-shirt company that I have, I wanted to kind of keep it simple a little bit, but I didn't want to be like, oh, my grandmother snatches more than you. Like, I didn't want those sayings on it. I wanted like something like, simple, like nothing crazy yet. I mean, I've done tie-dye shirts, like custom made ones, but that was an absolute nightmare. It just took forever. But I mean, it's a big learning experience. So, what other learning experiences have you gotten from starting this company?
So we've had some technical issues, I guess, with product, with like the wrist straps. I had a batch that just were unraveling, like the Velcro with the stitching just wasn't properly stitched, so we just have a bunch of that happen. That's a big one. And then some where we had, like, wrist straps are supposed to be left and a right. Like, it's just a subtle change with the position of the elastic thumb loop, so that you can put them on easily. And like, I've got a batch that were like all lefts or all rights and things like that you just have to sort of, and I didn't realize straight away, so you start to get some people that mention it, and then so I have had a few things from a customer service perspective, but we, as a business, customer service is one of the things I really work hard on. The business is me. Like, I do everything, so if people DM me on Instagram, it's me. I'm doing emails. I process the orders and do everything like that. So I write thank you cards to people when they place an order, because it's a big difference. It's me. It's my order.
Oh, yeah.
And I try and ship everything out basically the same day, or if the order comes in after sort of 2 or 3 o'clock, it'll go the next day. Like, we ship things out as quickly as we can. And if we do have a mistake, like, or a product issue, like, I had just no hesitation. We send a replacement, like, immediately, or if we can give them something else if they don't want it, or a refund if, they're just not happy and they just don't like something for any reason, we'll just refund. And I want people to be happy. And unfortunately, mistakes do happen and issues do happen, but I work really hard to try and fix those. And, immediately without any issues. And same with shipping, like, packages get lost, and even if says it was delivered and it can't find it, like, I'll just send it again. Like, for me, it's a cost of business.
Yep.
I ship things out, things get lost. It's not the customer's fault. It's not my fault either. But we just send it again and we move on. So, so we work really hard on that, and I think that's the personal touch, I guess, that you don't always get when something is shipped out of a large warehouse by just an employee. I guess. So,
yeah, I hear you. So, when did you realize, like, after, like, when did you realize, even through, like, social media, did it start, like, getting bigger?
So yeah, it's always funny with when you start a business, because you launch, and it's a big deal, and you start wondering, okay, when am I going to get the first order that isn't a family member or a friend?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, it's great. You need family and friends to get behind you, and you need your friends to wear, like in my case, you need them to wear their knee sleeves at the gym and take a photo and all that stuff. But that first order from a stranger is like the milestone. So, and I was pretty lucky. I got that first order like very quickly. And I worked pretty hard. I guess Instagram has been great for me, like, and I think great for a lot of businesses. So you can hashtag, and but even in the beginning, you've got 200 followers. Like, who's going to order from a business that has 200 followers?
Yeah.
But people do. Like, I think if you're transparent and say that you're new, and as long as people have confidence that it's legitimate, and that if they give you some money that they're going to get something for it, then it comes through. So that happened, and then it sort of it grew reasonably quickly. Like, that first year I did a lot better than I expected to do. So, and then I relocated to the United States. So I moved the business from Canada to the US. So not a huge deal, but I guess some of my Canadian customers, they get impacted because now it's shipping out of the US.
Yeah.
And it's in US dollars, and so that was a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, it just started to grow from there, and do events and keep pushing on Instagram and keep just ticking away, and have a good product that people are happy with from a customer service perspective as well, and then people see them and tell their friends, and then it just, you just have to be patient, I guess, and sort of grow from there. So I haven't, we don't have any debt, and I don't have any investors. It's all, bootstrapped, self-funded. So
yeah,
through growth. So yeah, which is what I wanted to do.
So do you do do you like fall seasons or anything like that? And if you do, like, how early do you start, like, the fall or winter or like spring or summer seasons?
Yeah, so I don't, with the accessories, I haven't done a structured sort of release through seasons. It is now that I guess it was a year ago, I went into apparel, like, so shirts and now shorts for, gym shorts for ladies specifically. So in that world, it's much more about seasons and holidays and things like that. So with the knee sleeves and accessories, I had a fair idea in my head of what I wanted to do and what the next print was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I do get feedback from customers, like people will ask, do you have a dog print? Do you have a wine print? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I love the feedback because I listen to it all, and I do take it on board. You can't, do everything, because you need to, when you're a small business, you need to produce something that, a lot of people will buy. So, but I do listen to it, and it is useful to get the feedback. So, but yeah, knee sleeves, it's more, sometimes I look at the range that I've got. So the last batch of knee sleeves I released is like a cyborg, like a black and white sort of robot, sort of Terminator type print, and the inside is like a comic book print. Now I did that one because I didn't actually have a black and white, slightly more subdued print that I know some people like. So it's still really fun and colourful on the inside, on the reverse side, but the outside, it's sort of, a sort of more neutral colours, which, you know, some customers do like. So,
yeah.
So that's sort of what I did with that, just because I saw that I had a gap in my range that I needed to sort of fill. And some of it is just restocking. So like I've got a Unicorn Galaxy pair of knee sleeves that has like it's a unicorns on one side and like a rainbow galaxy on the other. And this is like our third or fourth restock of the unicorns, because they've like by far been our most popular print. So that one is like, even when I say, okay, well, I'm not going to release it again, I just keep getting emails and messages going, are they coming back? Are they coming back? So I'm like, okay, I have to keep selling these. So
yeah, they are pretty cool. Yeah, I do like them. So
yeah.
Very cool. So, do you do like any influencing marketing or anything like that? Like give like free product to influencers, or have you guys like, what have you guys done for promoting it?
Yeah, so that's sort of still on my evolving to-do list. I haven't done anything formally with having ambassadors and things like that, ambassador program. It is something, it was on my list of things to do this year, and then COVID happened and it's still on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I do give product to influencers, so sometimes they'll contact me, or I've contacted them, and we do give product to various athletes or people to use. So yes, we do that. It's not a formal structured program at the moment, but we do some of that, yes.
Okay, very cool. So do you have your shirts, are they screen printed, or are they heat pressed, or do you do any of it, or what's the process with that?
Yeah, so that's evolving. So when I started, it was to me doing it all, just because you probably know yourself, just because you like something doesn't mean like other people are going to like it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go out and buy 1,000 shirts and then discover that you were the one person in the world that liked it. Mm-hmm. So I was really exploring sort of to seeing. So it's heat press and me doing it, and that's evolving now that I've got more confident in terms of what people like and what direction we want to go in terms of product range. But there's still a bit of testing involved. So like today, I've just been working on Halloween themed prints, and just trying to do some design work on some of those to see what to do there, like how much fun to have with some of that stuff. So, and I guess it's probably representative of myself as well. Some days I just want to wear a plain shirt and nothing on it, and other days you want to have words on it. So I have this sort of argument in my head about what are we? We're doing prints with words and fun, or are we plain? But it's evolving, and I think you can be both.
Yep.
We have both. So that's evolving as we speak, actually.
Yeah, I've done testing as well. Like when the first season of Stranger Things came out, I actually designed a shirt that said diabetic things with the logo, and right. I wore it and everyone loved it, but like no one bought it on the website. And I'm like, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna kill. I'm gonna get so many orders, and no one even, like, I maybe had like, I think like 5 people get a shirt, and I'm like sitting there like, what the heck happened? And then I had another one. It was like, it said animal on insulin, since like it's a diabetes theme, and it had like a scratch mark. I was like, oh, this is gonna kill. No one bought one. No, and I'm like sitting there like, okay, well, I mean, and it's good to test and see what the market actually really wants.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with feedback as well. It's really like, lots of people say you should do this, you should do this. It's like, okay, are you going to give me money for that?
Yeah.
Like, it's all well and good to tell me that you want that, but for somebody to then turn around and open their wallet and actually hand over some dollars for whatever they've asked for, like, there's a difference between wanting something and paying for it, and you really got to be confident that somebody is actually going to pay for it, and they're going to pay, a market appropriate rate for it, not $5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's hard because people are different. People have different tastes, and it is hard when it's your business, and you do take things personally, but you still have to step back and say, well, not everyone's going to like this, and you've got to be okay with that. But you still have to make a business out of it, and you don't want to have 100 shirts on a shelf that nobody's going to buy.
Yeah. So do you like show designs on your stories at all? To like kind of like do you have a test? Be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or yes or no?
Yeah, I haven't done that too much. I guess it's still evolving. I think once I get to a point, so now like even with some of the shorts, like I'm picking up. So I've got a new release coming out next probably 2 weeks time, and all 3 of those prints are current or past knee sleeve prints that we have that I know are popular. So I think as we sort of evolve and grow in certain areas, I'll probably do more of that. I haven't done a lot of it yet, so yeah.
Yeah, I've done it.
I've been trusting myself.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times. It does. It's interesting of what people think of like your design. Like I did a leopard print theme of like it just said Type 1 Lifting and it's leopard print and the back said leopard print and the logo was all leopard print too. And I showed it. I'm like, what do you guys think about this? And like a lot of people didn't like it, but I printed a shirt out and then everyone loved it. So I'm like, it's super interesting to see that.
Yes.
So
well, that's the other thing. You can do something, and I made a shirt, and the idea was good in my head, and it was okay on the screen, and then I made it, and I put it on, and I'm like, no, this is not like, and my husband was like, no. So okay, that goes, that get one thrown out. Next idea. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you use Photoshop or Illustrator for your designs at all, or just draw it up and then like send it off to somebody for them to do it?
Yeah, I have Illustrator that I do. So I don't know, I do everything myself.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm a control freak, but I actually like learning new things and working out how to do things, and I do like having control. That's not so. Even with the website, like I want a website that if I need to edit something today, like I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to somebody else to do that for me. So because that's important for me as a business, that if I need to respond that coronavirus is affecting shipping times, and I want to be able to go onto my website and be able to put an announcement or a banner or something to that effect without having to wait for somebody else to do it. So yeah, I like to be able to do it for myself, but I also like to learn and do different things. And I think that's part of the reason why I like to run my own business, because I like the variety. Like I like doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it keeps life interesting, keeps my day interesting. So yeah, so I've taught myself Illustrator.
Yeah. It's difficult. I learned it in college, so I was a graphic designer in college. So
okay. You've got an advantage there.
Yeah, a little bit. But I've designed all my stuff, and I don't use Illustrator. It's all just like Photoshop, and I just send it over, and then they print it out. But yeah, so that's really cool. I mean, so how long did it take you to learn Illustrator?
I think I just learn on the go. I want to do this. Google it. Look at a chat room or something. It tells you how to do it, and then you work it out. So I've always I still have it in the back of my mind, like I should go through and do these courses, but I've just sort of worked it out. So I'm probably not even that good yet, but I'm good enough to get by. So
yeah, don't sell yourself short. So do you have any like new products like coming out, like more like men's shorts, belts, like weightlifting belts, or like what's kind of in the back burner?
Yeah, so the from an apparel perspective, I do have ideas for what I want to do and what I want to do next. It's just a question with more ideas than money in the bank, I guess. So, as a small business, you just want to do everything, but you can't. And so, so I would like to do some men's shorts. My husband, he doesn't do CrossFit, but he goes to the gym, and I buy all his, training clothes. So it would be good to, have something that, for that side. So I think women spend more money than men.
Oh, yeah.
In this field.
Yeah.
So I really, I guess, initially started off down that path, and we'll probably be down that path for a little while, but hopefully can expand to cover the men's range as well. Lifting belts is an interesting one because I've been asked a lot about it, and it's not something it's sort of been in the background, but I've decided not to go down that path. So now it's just evolving from an accessories perspective. There are different things that are, hip bands and things like that are evolving and growing. So there's a few things that I'm just still working through and thinking about to see whether it makes sense and for the business and what I want to do. So
very cool. Yeah. So
it's that. I don't want to lose focus either. Like I want to keep giving out good products that I'm confident in, and I want to keep control of that and make sure that we do a good job. So yeah, still evolving, but wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. So what am I gonna say? So with your social media, so when do you get a lot of people taking pictures with your product on and like send them off to you? Because for me, not a lot of people do they wear my shirts, but they don't really post it. So like, how do you get your group?
Yeah, so we do get some of that. Not as much as I would like, to be honest. Like, I wish more people would. So yeah, it's just, but certainly there's that. And then I have some friends, I guess, who have products, and I can get them to do some things for me as well. But mostly, I mean, as you grow and you sell more, and people do tag you and use it, and it's about encouraging people to do it as well, I think, and I can probably do a bit better job of that. That's something I need to do more of, is just encouraging people to do it, to tag you. And I think probably, with clothing, people maybe do it more, but I think it does evolve as well. So the more you put user-generated content on your, real life people on your feed, which is what I want to do, the more people that follow you see that and go, okay, they use this stuff, so you'll get a shout out. So it does sort of evolve. So I'm trying to do a little bit more of it, actually. So but at the same time, we've got to keep it interesting and see different people using stuff. Like, I really I want to show diversity in body types that use products, and whether that's shorts or knee sleeves, whether it's an extra small or an extra large, like, we want to see everybody on there. And it's good when I love it when different people, especially people that maybe don't look like a fashion model, tag you, because it shows that it's real life and I'm a real person. It's just regular people using products for gym, and it doesn't have to be CrossFit. It can be normal Globo gym, or just walking at home. Like I've got customers that have used knee sleeves for skiing and just walking and running and all that sort of stuff, because if you need the support with your knees, that support's helpful. So yeah,
very cool. Yeah, because I really don't want to keep on posting myself doing lifts all the time. I'd rather have my because it's like people. Because it's hard. I'm like, I would love, like, I'm all in for posting my, like, the people that bought like my product all the time, but it's just like I don't have enough people to post, so it's mainly just me doing like these heavy lifts or like just something weird or whatever.
Yes,
so
yes. Well, I mean, I feature quite heavily on some of our, as a model in a lot of our range, because and more heavily than I would like, to be honest. But yeah, it's I guess I in the beginning I didn't want to be the face of a business, but I guess I learnt that it's actually okay, and that it actually gives a lot of people like that they like to see that it is a small business and a real person, and it is a real person. Like, when if something goes wrong, like, I feel bad that if I've packed something wrong, or there was a failure with the product or something like that. So so I've got a bit more comfortable. But like you, I don't want to be on every single photo. We want as much diversity in the feed as possible. So
no, I hear. So we're almost done with the podcast. So I have 3 questions for you. So the first one is, what are your goals for till the end of the year and next year for Liberte Lifestyle?
So this year I just want to. I've got finishing off with a few more sort of shorts releases and things. So I've just really been pushing into that area. Our 5-inch shorts, which are a little bit longer, have been going really, really well. I've been so happy with the product, and the customers are so happy with the product. So I'm just continuing to release some new versions of those, and just end the year strong, I guess, with Halloween coming and then Black Friday and the holiday season. So just really sort of finish off strongly and get through the year, get through the school year. My children started back at school for 2 days a week this week, and
yeah.
I'm teacher on 2.5 days a week. So it's really sort of get through and healthy and just hopefully have a strong year with some of the new products that I've got, and maybe do some events. I might sort of. It's hard to get my head around what's happening with CrossFit events at the moment, and whether we should go or not, and so we'll see how that goes. But then hopefully 2021 is I can keep expanding and do some new things and keep growing the business, and and hopefully have a more normal year. Like this year couldn't be as weird and just strange, I guess. So just keep growing. I don't really have. I mean, I have goals, but I don't really have. I'm comfortable with things sort of evolving and just sort of seeing where things lead. Especially as a small business, I think it's really hard to predict what's going to happen, what's going to take off, when's going to be a tipping point. So I'm really just focused on, the day-to-day, having a good product, good customer service, and then things will go from there.
So did you notice people buying a little bit more during the pandemic, like, since they're in lockdown?
Yeah, so there's been I certainly haven't had a decline in sales or anything, which is good. So, I mean, I'm not selling dumbbells and things like that, so I haven't had the explosive growth that has seen. But I've been lucky that being a home, based business, I haven't been impacted. I was business as usual from the get-go, so I was really lucky from that perspective, and it's just worked out quite well. So
nice, very cool. So do you have a favorite book that you like to read about, maybe to help your business out, or just something that you read once in a while just to look back on?
So the book that I guess was a bit of a catalyst for starting the business was the 4-Hour Work Week.
Okay.
So that I sort of read that, and that was about it had a lot of information about starting a business and being smart about starting a business. Now I didn't follow it completely, but it was very thought provoking for me. So that was a good book for me to get into. And I probably should read it again. Actually, it's been a while. So.
Yeah, I haven't read that book. I'm looking actually to get back. I have a whole list of books I want to read. It's just getting time to do it, unfortunately.
I know that question. It always makes me think, oh no, I don't read as often as I should. And at the beginning of every year, I'm like, I'm going to read a book a month at least. And it doesn't happen.
Yeah, a while back, I was on a tear of 2 books a month. So I'm that was just. Yeah. Then I had Then we had a second kid, and that just went right out the window. So I was
I think it is a lot about habit. If you start that habit of reading each night or whatever, but I've certainly got out of that habit, and I need to find some time to do it again.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then the last question. So, what would you tell a person that's trying to get into the clothing space what to expect?
So I honestly, I never thought I would go into apparel because I always and that I didn't ever want to be in. But I think there is space for smaller people, and even I had a review the other day that said this particular person was sort of disillusioned with the big brands, and they were producing products that just weren't up to standard, and so they were looking at sort of smaller brands. And I've seen some examples of smaller brands that have done quite well. So I think it's hard. It's hard to establish your name and get your sales and to keep going. There's a lot of statistics about businesses that fail within the first year or 5 years. Mm-hmm. So, but if you believe in your product and it's a good one, and quality is critical. I think someone might buy something the first time, because they don't know what it's like, but they certainly won't come back and buy it a second or a third time if the quality of the product's not what they expected. So, So that's my, I guess, advice is just, make sure you know who your customer is. And in my case, it's, people who are gym and what they're looking for in their product, and make sure that the product you get can deliver that. But it is hard. But you've got to back yourself as well. You've got to trust what you're doing and stick at it, because you never quite know when, that sale's going to come, or that turning point's going to come, or that person that, influencer is going to pick it up and run with it. So, yeah, you just have a good idea, know what you're doing, and just have a go, I guess. And you never know. And if you fail, you fail. If you don't, great.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It truly means a lot for me to, have you, take the time to talk with me for an hour. So thank you very much for doing this.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for having me. Hopefully it was interesting.
It was. All right.